my name is Daryl, and this is Programming in Any Language. We are working with C# right now, but the principles are the same in all languages. Master these principles, and you can easily jump into any other language quickly. And up to now, we've learned about decisions, and we've learned about looping. The concepts aren't too difficult. At least they aren't too difficult as we look at straightforward applications. Things can get a little dicey, however, when applications get complex. That's when we really need that plan. And that plan is a flowchart. I touched on flowcharting back in the decision section when we looked at the nested decision structures. Remember that? One if statement was inside another. Flowcharting that concept allowed us to see the logic and how complicated it might get. Well, loops can be nested as well. It's kind of a scary thought. Not only that, but just a single loop might be better understood if we could see a picture of what we are trying to do. That's the flowchart. And flowcharting does not have to be complicated. Take a look. Okay, let's. I actually want to get into flowcharting a little bit here. We looked at it back in the decision area, the decision structures. But not in great detail. We looked at it when we nested a couple of if statements and did those kinds of things. It gets more and more important as you begin to program to use flowcharting to get a good picture of what your program is going to look like. So all this stuff isn't crawling around in your brain as you're trying to do that. So let me just bring this up. I want to bring up, I've got something called, you can use Visio, you can use all kinds of tools. There's some free ones out there. Do a little research on Google, you'll be fine. I found this one called Flow Diagram or Flow Diagrams. It's not bad. It's not perfect. It does an adequate job for me as far as I'm concerned, but it's something that works, and it was cheap, and it does the trick. And a flowchart is temporary anyway. You're just kind of scratching this stuff out on paper, or on a screen, so that you can literally get a picture of what you're trying to do and follow your flow. And once you've started writing your code, then following that flowchart, the flowchart becomes obsolete or unnecessary anymore. No one ever keeps them up. That was the problem back in the day. Flowcharting was always stressed. We need to do flowcharting, and they didn't want to keep those as part of the documentation. But what happened is people would make changes to programs, and those programs were never reflected in the flowcharts. It became little tougher to understand then, because what's this? This doesn't make any sense anymore. It needs to be clear. So I look at the flowcharting as a temporary tool that you're going to be using to build your program. And I really simplified. If you look at a flowchart template, it's got all kinds of squares and diamonds and circles and all kinds of stuff. I just don't use many of them. Here's what I do use. I get a terminator. I'll bring that thing out. I use this for a start and stop. I might put start in here or end, and use that as my beginning for my program. Another thing I often use is the process. This is a guy I use for everything. I might put in read a file or read get input from user, or A equals string whatever. Just basically comments, lines of code might go in here. I even put several lines of code in here just so they're documented. I've got them on here so I can follow it. So that goes there. Let's put in something like A is equal to B plus C. That's one thing I might do here. Another thing I would use is the decision statement. This guy right here, let's go if A is greater than 0. If A is greater than 0, I want to go in a direction. I'm trying to find my 0 key here. There it is. And I'll put a question mark after it. And what I do then is I need a text character in here. So that's, you've got that in this thing too someplace. Text box right here. Let's drag this out. And I can take this text and I can put in yes. I got to kind of get rid of stuff here. Say yes. And then let's make a copy right away. And Control C, Control V. Control C, Control V work for almost anything you do. It just is a universal name. Now I got to make these a little smaller so they don't shine on everything, cover up anything. Okay, so if I want to go in a certain direction, if A is greater than 0, I want to go maybe this way. So I'll take this guy and put him here. And I'll take the no and put it here. And so then if A is greater than 0, I might want to do this. So I'll get my process thing out again and pop that on here. Then if it doesn't work out that way, it might go this way. And then the end result, it might go over here after this is done. And this might be something else. So let's go ahead. Let's put some arrows in here to get this thing in place here. You can grab an arrow. It does that too. So I'll just grab this guy and put it up here, and we'll start it around here and bring it down over here. If you want to make this a little larger, you certainly can. Then we can see it even better. Let's go to 200. Too much? No, that's not bad. That'll work out pretty well. And once I've got that arrow in place, I might want to size these things to where they look good. That's looking good. Okay, I can copy this arrow now. Control C, Control V, and just move him up in here with the cursor keys. Bring him up like that. And he's a little large for this, so I might just take this and move that up here. Put another one down here. Control V, and move him over. And that's not too bad, actually. And I'll do another one. And the nice thing about this is I can grab him and I can put him over here and put him over here. And now the other things I might use, sometimes you're going to be, we haven't gotten to methods yet or things of that thing, but we might do code that's going to be called in later. And what I would use instead of that, instead of boxes like this, I would use this guy right here. This guy right here is my default subfunction key. Now this is going to be I'll say do something. And in this case, after I do this, if A is greater than 0, let's say that Q is equal to 22. And down here it's not, so we'll say Q is equal to 45. Whatever that means, who knows. And then, of course, we got this arrow right here, which we can copy and paste down here. And we'll stretch them out a little bit. And we'll grab this guy and paste him over here. And he's in place and we can actually see it. Now this do something thing, now let's raise it up a little bit. Just a little bit. This do something thing is going to be another program that I'm going to write somewhere else. So I'll actually create another page for this thing. So let's add a page to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an off-page connector showing this thing. And it's going to be A. I'll just put down an A in here. So we're going to go to A. And it's going to... Let's actually increase the size of this thing too so we can kind of see it. And we'll say, oops, trying to get the, there, that's fine. Do something, let's see, print heading line. I might put that as my flowchart little thing in here, what I want to do. I want to call it all the time and actually do this kind of thing. And of course, it's going to have an arrow too. Is that arrow still valid? No, it's not. Yeah, it is over here. Okay, cool. We'll just grab this and put it in like this. That's not too bad. And then I would return. So I'll use my, where was the thing? Terminator. Not this one. This one right here. I use this as my return. Put the text in here, return from where it came. So now this thing does its thing, and I can go back to my first page, but I need something here. So I need that little off-page connector saying you're going off to here. You're going to A. And let's slide this around a little bit. Get our little thing right here. And move it up, move it in here, move this guy in. And then we might end the program. So our terminator might come in over here, and we might end the program here and just call this an end. Yeah, let's get one more arrow to complete this task here. So we've got that in place. So what we've got, it's a very ugly flowchart. No, it's actually it's a simulation of basically a flowchart using the components you might use to do this kind of thing. The termination key is telling you you start here. You're going to do something here. You can make multiple ones of these, as many as you want. If you have a decision to make, you would end up using the triangle for yes or no to know which path you're going to go down. And you can follow this through, and Q is going to be equal to 22 here. Q is going to be equal to 45 here. It's going to do something, which means it's going to jump over to page 2, print the heading line, and I should say return. It should be set right here. And then what happens is you come back to page 1, and that's this spot. You know, you branch off and come down, and the program ends, and that's it. Yeah, this is very simplified. But when you get to complex programs that have maybe some nested ifs or some nested loops in there, they're very hard to keep straight in your mind. And so flowcharting these things out really helps tons when you're actually doing this kind of thing. So this will clear things up for you. The end result is I would print this out or leave it up on a screen, or take a screenshot of this thing and use it as a guide as I'm actually writing my code, and just kind of cross off the lines as I get through this thing. And when I'm all done, it's helped me write my code much quicker, and it's generally going to reduce the number of errors I might have because I don't have any paths that are going to be broken here. It's following some logic that I've thought about in my mind and kind of put this down on paper without having to remember every single thing I've got. So that's what flowcharting looks like. We'll use this in some of our programs and some of our applications as we go forward, so you kind of see what's going on with this thing. That's what we got. Well, there you have it. That was a program flowchart. There are also system flowcharts and hierarchy charts, which we will get into later, and they help too in the process of creating solutions to problems. For now, in the trenches, we want to master the program flowchart because it can help us so much. It can help us with decision statements. It can help us with the loop. It can help us with file processing. Then there's arrays, methods, and all kinds of stuff where a picture is going to keep you from going crazy. Loops are everywhere. I read a book on programming 1,000 years ago which discussed flowcharting. The author made me laugh with one of his statements, and it's true today even. It went something like this. 80% of programmers need to flowchart. 20% of programmers can visualize the problem in their heads and don't need to flowchart at all. The problem, however, is that 80% of the programmers think they belong to the 20% group. I can assure you, I'm not in that 20% group. I need all the help I can get. That being said, however, I will state that you don't have to flowchart the entire program. Certain things can be visualized without the help of a flowchart. But when it starts getting fuzzy, pick up that template and a pencil, or start up a flowcharting program and create a picture of the fuzzy stuff. Then take the fuzzy out. What you need to take out of this video is flowcharts are temporary. We don't keep them. You only need a few objects to flowchart a problem. You just need to flowchart the fuzzy spots. And neatness helps. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. If you get a chance, please subscribe. That way you will be notified when something new is available. Take care.